Les interviews du doc, c'est maintenant sur Vinyl Time.
Alors les amis, c'est avec un grand plaisir qu'on va passer un petit moment avec Phil X qui vient nous présenter son nouvel album qui est disponible depuis le 28 mars via Frontiers Records. Il s'appelle Poe, c'est Phil X and the Drill, Poe Right in the Keezer, disponible depuis un petit moment, j'espère que vous l'avez écouté. Phil est avec nous. Phil, thank you so much for taking a couple
Thank you.
and pass so many time to speak about this new records with a very good one. So my first question, Phil, after this release, because it's coming since the 28th of March, I see a lot of review coming. I see a lot of people who maybe discover your music. What is your feeling right now? Because a lot of people say, man, this man is crazy. He have a lot of dreamer. He have a lot of good songs, old songs, make a lot of energy. Sometimes it's a little bit funky. Sometimes it's a little bit black. And many chemistry on this album. So what is your feeling after maybe a couple of days and a couple of people will discover this power right in the keezer?
So it's funny, some of the people that they didn't know what to expect. They go, hey, this guy plays guitar with Bon Jovi. And maybe they didn't hear any previous records or anything like that. So it's their first exposure to me playing and singing. And I mean, it's usually great. People are like, man, I didn't expect that. That's awesome. Because, you know, some people say I'm bringing the rock back, you know, and that's kind of cool, right? But I think, you know, I've always been a song guy, you know, like I grew up playing on my driveway with the AM radio. So it was all these pop songs. It was top 40. And obviously I turned into this guitar player, you know, with a little bit of skill. And I keep singing and singing. And the more I sing, the more I want to express myself. And some of these songs, they're a lot deeper than our previous record. You know, there's more dimension. Like Broken Arrow, for instance, you know, the song with Liberty DeVito. I wrote that after I learned Chris Cornell passed away. So I was really, you know, brokenhearted, and I wanted to be about challenges. And I've always been interpretive with my lyrics. I think that's really interesting. It's a cool way to go, because you know, back when I started writing for the drills, people, you know, someone would come up to me and they'd go, hey, so what were you thinking when you wrote that lyric? And I go, what do you think I was thinking? and sometimes they come up with something way better or cooler than what I was thinking. My intent was beaten by what somebody else thought. So I thought that was kind of cool. And so I stayed the course and stayed in that lane of being interpretive. So it's the same thing with, you know, maybe I was thinking about someone who just committed suicide when I wrote Broken Arrow, but it's more about challenges, and we reach you know, like a fork in the road, and we can make a decision. And remember, there's no undo button. So you gotta stick to that choice.
Ah voilà, donc vous l'avez compris, on est avec Phil. Alors on parlait effectivement de ce premier album, pardon, pas ce nouvel album qui est disponible pour Right in the Keezer, donc on parlait effectivement de cet excellent album. Phil, comme il le dit, les premières personnes qui l'ont découvert ont dit « Ouais, c'est le guitariste bien sûr de Bon Jovi, mais wow, il fait des trucs incroyables. » Et en fait, ouais, c'est vraiment le truc. Et il se dit quand les gens ont découvert sa musique, ils ont été surpris. Il y a un des premiers titres qui a été un des morceaux phares de l'album qui s'appelle Broken Arrow, qui parle bien sûr de la mort de Chris Cornell. Il a écrit ce morceau parce que effectivement il a été très pris. Donc il y a eu plein de bonnes choses à travers cet album. C'est un album qui a pris beaucoup de temps parce qu'il l'a écrit et on va en parler avec lui depuis très longtemps. Phil, this album is really a huge one because some of the songs on it, like if I remember correctly, Battleship was maybe created at 2014. So it's
Yes.
11 years ago. So this album, it looks like a long journey to create, to have your friend with you, a lot of people coming. And after that, we have to speak about this lot of drummer playing, because I thinking about that, but I think it's a good idea to have many people coming behind the kit and play with you. So it's a real long journey, this new record.
Yeah, life happens. There were Bon Jovi records made. There was Bon Jovi tours. I became a dad for the second time, and when you go away and you come home, I don't even think about music for a few weeks. I just want to be dad.
Yeah.
So there was that, and then I just kept writing. I kept writing, and there were songs that were gonna go on this record. They got replaced by newer songs. So I just, and 2019, when we put out Stupid Good Lookings Volume 1, that was kind of like a teaser to, hey, let's put out 6 songs, 6 different drummers, and then there'll be Volume 2 and Volume 3. But in the interim, I kept writing and kept recording and kept getting different drummers. And then last summer is when I started talking to Frontiers. And then they said, hey, let's put out a record. So to me, it didn't make sense to put out a Volume 2 on another label because then it would be confusing. So now it's confusing for a different reason. There's only a Volume 1. What happened? So I thought, we got 11 new songs. Let's just make it a whole new record. I got a really cool title, Pow Right in the Kisser. Let's do that.
Ah voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors, comme il le dit, alors il y a un morceau, par exemple, qui s'appelle You Sunk My Battleship, qui date de 2014. Alors, je disais, ça a dû être très long pour sortir l'album. Comme il le dit, il a beaucoup tourné avec Bon Jovi, donc comme il est papa pour la deuxième fois, quand on revient à la maison, c'est pas pour être dans la musique, c'est un peu pour se reposer, pour être le papa, the dad. Et derrière, après, ils reviennent des idées, donc il reprend un petit peu où il en était. Et puis, comme il y avait effectivement, l'idée, c'était pas de faire un volume 1, un volume 2, un volume 3, c'était vraiment de faire quelque chose qui tienne la route. C'est pour ça que ça a pris un petit peu de temps. Et c'est pour ça aussi qu'on retrouve ces 11 titres sur le label Frontiers. C'est dispo depuis, on vous le rappelle, le 28 mars. C'est un super album. Phil, of course, maybe a lot of people discover your voice because I was a little bit surprised. You have a lot of difference when we sing some different songs. It's look like not the same voice when you sing You Sunk My Battleship and Broken Arrow. You have sometimes feeling, sometimes it's more energetic, sometimes it's more black. And I think for you, it's a great job to maybe adjust your voice on these records and maybe provide some different approach when you have to write something. What is the most difficult for you when you have to write something and create, of course, the music, but put the voice on each title? It's really difficult. It's really challenging. It's sometimes it's just funny. Maybe it's just
sometimes it's funny.
Sometimes it's your friend.
That's a great question. I just, it's obviously where the register is, like I have a different sound up here than I do down here, and then there's something in the middle. But I feel like, the lyric to me is in here when I'm thinking about how I'm gonna sing it. Again, Broken Arrow, being about, my feelings towards Chris Cornell and his passing. I wanted that. I'm not a Chris Cornell sound, but I wanted to have that kind of aggressive timbre in my voice when I sang the chorus. But then, I mean, it's not like I tried, because you're right. When I sing like You Sunk My Battleship, it's almost like the same kind of sound up there. So I feel like, the punkier stuff sounds different. I don't know. It's really weird now that I'm thinking about it. I don't even know how to explain it.
Ouais, voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors, je disais parce qu'effectivement, si vous écoutez cet album, vous allez voir la voix de Phil, elle est différente suivant les morceaux. Il n'a pas la même voix sur Broken Arrow que sur Battleship. Il a joué avec sa voix, avec ses harmonies, avec son feeling. Et effectivement, comme il le dit, c'est une bonne question parce que des fois, c'est plus dans son approche ou effectivement, des fois sur une boutade avec quelqu'un. Mais c'est vrai que c'est différent. Et comme il le dit très bien sur Broken Arrow, il a voulu se rapprocher de ce que faisait Chris Cornell dans l'approche de la voix pour vraiment lui rendre un hommage. Phil, during this long process, what is the biggest challenge during this making of this album for you?
Actually, the challenge was at the end, because, I thought, if it's my guitar and my voice, and then Dan's bass and Dan's background vocal sound, I thought that would be enough to make it sound like the same record. And it later on when we went to master and I was doing the mixing, we had Chris Lord Alge had already mixed 2 songs, and so that set a standard. Now I could never approach his skill level at the mixing in the mixing department, but we just wanted it to sound cohesive and get close. And I think when I sent it to my mastering guy, Mauer Applebaum, he said, "Hey, this doesn't sound like the same record." So I had, you know, because even if you have 3 drummers on the same drum kit, like in one day, like we did once, um, it's the same drum kit, it's the same room, it's the same microphones, it's the same engineer, it's the same compressors on the overheads. But that's the thing, everybody hits different. So those compressors respond differently. So every drummer, even on the same kit, sounded different. So imagine trying to make a whole record with 5 different kits and engineers and rooms sound like the same record. So it was kind of tricky at the end. That was the biggest challenge.
Ah, voilà, donc vous l'avez compris, comme le dit Phil, c'est assez facile d'enregistrer sa voix, sa guitare, d'avoir son bassiste, d'avoir les chœurs, mais quand il a fallu enregistrer les batteries, comme c'est effectivement le même kit, mais c'est pas les mêmes batteurs, et ben, chacun joue à sa manière, et donc il faut réussir ils ont réussi à rentrer bah, cet enregistrement de différents batteurs pour prouver bah, qu'ils étaient dans la même pièce et faire quelque chose qui tienne la route, parce que sinon, effectivement, c'était un petit peu compliqué. Phil, I think you have a lot of gigs right now in Texas, if I remember correctly. What is the reaction of the people when you discover some new song like Broken Arrow?
We didn't get to play that yet. We did do Texas in about a few weekends ago, and we played the 3 singles that had already come out. So that was "Don't Wake Up Dead," "Moving to California," and "Fake the Day Away."
Okay.
And the response was killer. People were like, because there were a lot of fans that had seen us before, and there were a lot of fans that knew the older material. So when we played the new material, uh, they kind of freaked out. I mean, I even said though, I go, "Hey man, come and see us in Texas. We're gonna play the 3 new singles." But man, even for me, playing the new songs was a lot of fun. And it's funny because when then you gotta, we were talking about singing. When I'm singing for the song in the studio, then I have to implement all those sounds when we play live. So like moving to California is a little different than Don't Wake Up Dead. So it's a placement thing that I have to get accustomed to. So I'm looking forward to actually diving in to even playing more songs. I think Broken Arrow would be amazing live. I think You Sunk My Battleship would be amazing live. So I'm really excited about working in more songs.
Ah, voilà, donc vous l'avez compris. Alors, il a un peu joué au Texas, donc il a joué en live les 3 premiers singles. Je pensais qu'il avait joué Broken Arrow, mais non. Donc, il a joué les trois premiers singles en live. Il y a une réponse incroyable. Comme il le dit, il a pris beaucoup de plaisir à jouer, à chanter ses chansons. Il a hâte de retourner sur scène. Il a hâte de partager des nouveaux titres. On posera une petite question sur la tournée, en espérant qu'on puisse le voir en Europe. Mais en tout cas, voilà, si vous voulez découvrir cet excellent album de Phil X, il est dispo depuis le 28 mars, les amis. Phil, I think we speak about a lot of Broken Arrow, but I think this is one of the most important songs on your records. But
Thanks.
do you have some other prefer, I would like to say, on this record? Because Broken Arrow look like one of the famous one, because it's really because we're speaking a lot about Chris Cornell, of course, because it's a big artist. But you have some other good songs with totally different. So do you have some other prefer, like I pretty sure you like Battleship?
I do love Battleship. That's my ode to Black Sabbath. Both those grooves in that song is very Black Sabbath to me. And when I was a kid, I loved Black Sabbath and the drop C sharp tuning and singing the way I sing. And then what's funny about it is the lyrics. When I thought, okay, I'm gonna write a song called "You Sunk My Battleship," and then I'm like, and I'm gonna put different board games in the lyrics in the chorus. And then they gave a clue with a different end result. It was that kind of stuff. There's that. But you know what? I feel like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but playing uh Don't Wake Up Dead me, Dan, and Ray in the studio, and as soon as we played that song once, I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
this is the first song on the record.
yeah, I like this.
This is
I like this one. Yes, it's crazy. It's one. I think no, I'm not a good one. I like every songs on this record, so it's very difficult.
wow. Thank you.
But yes, Don't Wake Up Dead is clearly, hey guys, let's go start the engine with this one, and after that, be careful. You have a lot of good songs coming. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bah voilà, donc on parlait effectivement de Broken Arrow qui est important parce qu'elle a beaucoup d'émotions, c'est un morceau qui dévoile beaucoup de choses, de la sincérité, c'est très touchant, ça parle de Chris Cornell. Mais je voulais savoir aussi si Phil, il avait d'autres chansons qu'il aimait beaucoup. Bah, on a parlé bien sûr de You Sunk My Battleship qui est un petit clin d'œil à Black Sabbath, mais le premier titre d'ouverture, Don't Wake Up Dead avec Ray Luzier à la batterie, c'est un morceau les amis, ça envoie du petit bois. Je vous le recommande vraiment, vraiment, vraiment. Euh, and by the way, you play a little bit of funky song on this record. Find a way. It look like your Michael Jackson approach, Phil. No.
Michael Jackson. Dude, the funk.
Yeah.
No, for me, the funk for me was back, man, like Stevie Wonder and all like Earth, Wind and Fire and it's all this funky stuff that I grew up listening to that was like from the 70s. It's just all that stuff just kind of getting ingrained in the way I played, and I love doing covers. When I was starting to do covers, we would do stuff like Superstition and I Wish by Stevie Wonder, and we would do Shooting Star by Earth, Wind and Fire, and I'm trying to think of all these songs, but it all the rock bands like Aerosmith, like Last Child, is so funky, and Fame by David Bowie, so funky. Everything merged into this with Stevie Wonder, and that's what Find a Way became with Mr. Tico Torres on drums. So all that came together, and it's like I sent it to a friend of mine, and they said, "Man, the groove, and then the verse, and then the pre-chorus, but then you have this explosive, super poppy chorus that I didn't expect." And I kind of think music needs that. You don't want everything to be expected. So when you have something that surprises you, I love that. I love that a lot.
Ah, voilà, je taquinais un petit peu Phil sur le morceau Find a Way, qui est un morceau très funky. Alors vous l'avez compris, c'est un morceau. Alors j'ai dit c'est Michael Jackson, bien sûr que non, on discute, mais voilà. David Bowie, vous l'avez compris, Aerosmith, c'est un côté très funky. À la batterie sur ce morceau, c'est quand même Monsieur Tico Torres, le batteur de Bon Jovi. Donc il y a le côté cubain sur ce morceau qui fait que c'est un morceau qui a beaucoup d'énergie, qui est vraiment un morceau très intéressant à écouter. Je vous le recommande. Find a Way, Phil bien sûr au chant, et puis Tico Torres à la batterie, ça fait un mixte incroyable. Maybe Phil, we have just to introduce the rest of the band with you because we speak a lot about a lot of drummers, but I have one question for one of the big one who is playing with you.
Okay.
We have Daniel Spray on bass and backroom. We have Brent Fitz with play drums and backing vocal, of course. We have Mr. Phil with a lead vocal and guitar with us tonight. But you have a lot of people with you. We have Ray Luzier, Tico Torres, Jeremy Spencer, Brian Tichy, and one of the most guys that you're working with him since a couple of years right now. It's behind the Method of Mayhem, or maybe the man behind the kit of Motley Crue.
Yes.
And I think for you, it's great to share again some songs with Mr. Tommy Lee, and you are so happy to play some songs with Tommy and Ray and so many other good artists. You are really, really, really happy.
Oh, I'm thrilled. As you know, and working with Tommy so many times, like even on his records, where we'd be in the room and we'd be jamming on an idea, and I realized at that moment that, oh my God, this guy's got this deep, deep, deep pocket, and he's imaginative with his fills, and he's just doing stuff that you don't see other drummers do. And so that I wanted to capture that on this record. And when I asked him to play on a song, he was totally in here. I was like, this has got to be for Tommy Lee. It's not just, hey man, play on a tune. It wasn't like that. I wrote Take the Day Away to a groove that Tommy was playing in a live Motley Crue show I saw on YouTube. and then he got involved. He's like, this is awesome, but we need to slow it down. So we slowed it down 10 beats per minute and then another 4 beats per minute in the studio. And that's the tempo that you hear now. And the funny thing about it is I can't even hear it faster. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was like Tommy put the producer hat on and said, this has got to be slower so we can get people's heads a nodding.
Ben voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors, on parlait bien sûr des gens qui accompagnent Phil avec lui. On peut parler bien sûr de tous les batteurs, donc Tico Torres, Brian Tichy, Jeremy Spencer, Ray Luzier, et bien sûr Tommy Lee qui a joué avec. Ils ont joué ensemble dans Method of Mayhem, le batteur de Motley Crue. Comme il le dit, il avait une idée pour faire jouer le morceau. Voilà, c'est pas un truc du style ouais, viens Tommy, assis-toi derrière le kit et joue. Non, il avait une idée en tête et ils ont joué ce morceau ensemble. Et c'est vrai qu'effectivement, le morceau est excellent. Moi, je vous recommande une nouvelle fois d'écouter cet album, Paul, Right in the Keezer. Il est disponible depuis le 28 mars. On est avec Phil. Phil, allez, 2 questions before we ending. What is the next plan for you? Because, of course, it's so difficult to see you right now on stage in Europe. But what is the plan for you as the artist in your country? And do you have some plan to coming back in Europe? Maybe without, of course, Bon Jovi, but only with you and the band.
Yeah, there's always something in the works, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. There's so many different, like we almost came to Europe last fall, but it's so hard to, with the economy and inflation and getting the band over there and all. I love Europe. I love Europe, and I want to go back so bad. So we're working on it. There's something if it's not us doing it by ourselves, maybe we go and we open for someone. We'll just get out there and we want to play. Everybody wants to play, and then we'll see what happens with the Bon Jovi schedule next year too. Because maybe I can figure it out. Maybe we do the Bon Jovi shows, and then I do drill shows on nights off.
I remember something like this in Paris, in France. No, you have some gigs set up during Bon Jovi tour, and it's clearly cancelled, if I remember.
I did a master class, I think.
Yeah.
And we did it at South America too. When we went to South America in 2019, to Rock in Rio, 120,000 people. And the next night, I did a master class for like, I don't know, 1,000 or 700 or something like that. But I hate days off, so I got to stay busy.
Voilà, vous l'avez compris. Alors, le point suivant, c'est est-ce qu'on va peut-être voir Phil bientôt avec ou sans Bon Jovi. Il y aura peut-être des choses avec Bon Jovi, mais comme il le dit, il travaille pour faire des choses. C'est compliqué. Pour tout le monde, c'est compliqué de venir. Mais en tout cas, il adore venir en Europe. Alors, si Bon Jovi joue et qu'il y a des day off, il y aura certainement des masterclass ou des concerts de Phil dans les jours off, parce que comme il le dit, il adore jouer. Et s'il y a une day off, pour lui, c'est jouer. Play. Et voilà. Phil, maybe you have to learn some French words now. No?
I think so.
So Phil, thank you again. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Oh man, no problem.
Do you have some words for the French listener? Maybe we discover Phil X and the drill. The floor is yours. So, do you have some words for the French people?
I've been there. I love it there. The people are amazing. You know what? I'm really, the way you talk about the record is it warms my heart. Thank you so much. And then you're presenting it to your country in your way, and the more people that we reach, the better it is. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil. So maybe now you can listen Don't Wake Up Dead. It would be great, no?
Yes, man. Do it now.
Yeah.